that better?
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. We are once again hitting you with a little comic talk and sketches. Joe is here with me. He is going to be drawing as always. We're going to be talking about Saga. We're going to be talking about some of the new books coming out this week. We're going to be hitting a little bit of everything. As always, if you like what you see, log in, like us, and join us. We got a special guest that's going to be joining us, and she's going to be joining us here in a second. And I'm so excited to see. So let's do a little intro videos here. All right, now there's three. So
And then there were three.
So thank you, Trish, so much for joining us. This is Joe Christie. He's one of my best friends growing up. He does this with me. He is an artist, and he's been an art teacher for years, and now he sort of does freelance stuff and just plays around. Trish,
Great.
If you don't know who she is, she struck amazing lightning with one of the hottest books last year. She is the artist on Stray Dogs.
Stray Dogs.
So as the semi background you can see behind us is the butterfly coming out from the mouth of the Stray Dogs #1 variant.
Yeah, I see. Yep. Dog Days #1 right here.
Oh, you got it right there. We're actually going to be talking about that here in a little bit. I'm so excited you decided to join us. The way you and I ended up talking was you hopped into our CBSI Facebook group and you decided to comment.
Mistakes were made.
Because someone was bringing up, because one thing that your books have done, was a store exclusive craze that went nuts. And as your book became popular, which I love the fact that your book, it was good from the start, but it wasn't until issue 3 and 4 that people started going, what the hell is this Stray Dogs book? What is this thing? I mean, like, I was reading it. I was talking about it when it came out. I loved it. I got my trade right here. Oh, however you turn it around. Got my trade right here. Had to reread it to make sure I knew what I was talking about again. But it's
a good quick read too. It's not like it's,
well,
you got to read several volumes and then, something else. At least it's nice and easy to read, and you get the idea right away.
Well, and you tell a lot of it through the art, like because they're dogs for one thing, but also, I love the aspect of, and everyone's picked your brain over the fact that it seems like you were in love with Disney and Don Bluth and All Dogs Go to Heaven with the style, and which I love. That's what sold me on from the get go. I was like, oh man, I loved All Dogs Go to Heaven and Balto and all those non-Disney movies.
Amblin Entertainment, Amblin Animation, other studios that weren't Disney at the time. Those were like my jam. That's where I kind of found a lot. Plus, the golden, or what do they call that? Renaissance Disney with like Little Mermaid and
the late
Aladdin,
80s, early 90s.
that whole era. That was like Renaissance Disney stuff. That whole era is where I grew up.
Yeah.
But, I'm also a fan of like the not mainstream. So give me the Warner Animations, give me the, give me Amblin, give me Bluth Studios, give me whatever, give me it. It's fine.
Yeah. Hey, I'm right there with you. Like, I'm a Disney. I just watch cartoons. I
like cartoons. Never grown.
Always. He's always just watched cartoons.
So, but that's exciting to think, and to think. Yeah. So, anyways, to get back to the story of the CA, someone posted, and I thought he was just a little tired of all the exclusives, and then he really didn't like this one particular store's exclusive. And you dropped in, hey, just why don't you like it? Thinking, and I loved your comment was, if you're in the Facebook group, go read the comments. What Trish responds back is very tame, and then the guy who posted it, they were very very nice to each other, very much clarifying what they meant when they were going through it. And then you had some of the people got in there, and I don't know how you do this as a putting yourself out there and allowing people to critique what you do and then to respond back to them. It's one thing to just let them, because I can just mute it. I don't have to listen to you if you're going to talk. But you actually participated in it for a little bit, and some people came back in and they were hating on the book and then you go, wait, did you even read it? No, I don't read it. I mean, I don't like that. I was like, so you were, and Joe and I were talking earlier, in the comments, they attacked the fact that if you haven't read it, sorry, this book's been out long enough. Spoilers. There's dogs in it. There's a serial killer in it, and that kills people, but he also kills some dogs. And the guy was offended there was dogs being killed in the book. I had no problem with the fact there was a serial killer killing women.
Yeah, no, I find that nobody has a problem with the people getting harmed. They have major issues with the dog getting harmed. Now, I think of it more like it's a horror movie, right? Mm-hmm. I think of the cast of dogs like you would think of like the cast of Scream or the cast of like Friday the 13th or the cast, like it's just a bunch of co-eds. These, it's just like these guys out there, So of course, like the noble, do no wrong kind of goody two shoes one is the one that, gets it because he snitches. So he's ratting out the boss. The boss is like, oh no, you're a liability now.
Yeah.
Let's go to the shed. I mean, listen, I had major issues drawing that. We did it good, right? We did it like a cartoon movie would do, off screen. Mm-hmm. It was implied.
Yeah.
Now it gets a little morbid later.
We open the closet, the door, and all the heads in there.
Yeah, it gets a little morbid, but I like to think maybe those dogs died of natural causes, and the dogs were actual trophies.
They were his pets. They're all were.
So like he kept them as a trophy even after they were gone. Yeah. So like, maybe some of those dogs died of natural causes. Like, I don't know what this guy's deal is. Yeah. And that was the whole point of it too, was so that people could think what they want. Mm. And that's why I didn't have necessarily a problem with people thinking that there was like some sort of abuse happening, because I mean, psychologically this book is a mind, it'll get you. And I think of it more as a psychological thriller than a horror, like straight horror, but it is a horror thing. And so, we play on those tropes, and we kind of, we kind of just made it its own thing. And I don't know, some people got from it what they would. And I'd like to think that maybe the guy didn't hate the dogs, just that one dog was a liability.
Yeah. Well,
he could call 911, like for real. This dog, he had to go.
Yeah.
Bad boy, even though he was the goodest one.
But yeah,
they were hating on it like pretty hard, and I'm like, well, tell me what you did. Now, art is subjective, right? So, like, if you don't like a cover, that's fine. I don't care. Yeah. Like, you don't have to. If you don't like my art style, that's great. It's subjective. What you see is subjective. What you read is different. I mean, it can be subjective, but like the story is elegant. It's simple. Not a lot to it. Although the more you think about it, the more onion layers you kind of can pull off.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, well, if you read it, then you would know that the guy doesn't actually hurt any of the dogs except for that one. Mm-hmm. And that's because he's a snitch.
So, yeah, and I think one of the things, and the exclusive craze is where, and it's because this CBSI, this is comicbookinvest.com, we are all about books we like, but also ways to resell books for profit. And so it's always a delicate balance of like, what do we talk about? Do we talk about how your books are? I mean, were you blown away seeing this book that you guys created? All of a sudden, it's selling for $80, and then the exclusive Hive Comics goes for $400, and you're just like,
yeah. It blew my mind. I don't know if you can hear her, but my dog just got back when my husband took her for a walk. But yes, that was like the secondary market, opening my eyes to the secondary market of comics. That was like the newest thing for me. That was like the biggest thing, because I didn't understand it before that. I was like, why is a comic book that sells for $5 or $4 or whatever going for like 80 or 90. It has to do, like, there's some math equations, there's some exclusivity, there's some, speculating on what it could be, and when it's optioned, it's more, and this and that. So I learned a lot of stuff really fast when all of that stuff, was when this book was coming out and when these things were happening. And I understand the frustrations of people who are completionists when you have a gajillion covers and like people are like, how many more are there? I don't have any more money. Like, what is happening?
Let's see here. The back of the trade has what?
The back of the trade has just the main run. None of the
even
exclusives.
Has the second and third print. So you're talking, and then you even have I think it is the cover, the cover gallery cover. So you actually released a comic that was all the covers, right?
Yeah, that was the one per store thank you variant. That went out. That was actually Image's idea, I think. That wasn't our idea, but it had all the covers that we had done up to that point in it. I think it was like 42 pages, maybe. And yeah, this next one, if they do one, oh my God, they're gonna need like a double issue. It's gonna be crazy.
I mean, to be honest, I thought these were. I didn't realize the series was coming out again, starting up, which it releases Wednesday, or this upcoming Wednesday.
Yeah, 29th.
Because the sheer number, I thought people were just because they did your trade paperback. I hadn't seen this before. They did it. I think Something's Killing the Children started it, but all the people that jumped on and made reprints of the trade paperback or exclusive covers for your trade paperback.
Yeah, I never heard of that. I was like, wait. So, because we did new covers and we did reprints, reprint covers. So, like, I have, what do I have? Blair Witch was a reprint cover.
Yeah.
The 1B with the Silence of the Lambs homage, that was a B cover.
Yeah.
Scream, that was one for Canada. Yeah, I'd never heard of trade paperback exclusives before.
Yeah.
So that blew my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already talking like, that's a whole nother level of commitment. And plus, this book is worth it, though. I mean, like, I feel like it was a nice, thick trade. It feels good in your hands. It's not like it's a, flimsy little comic book. Plus, we did all those nice, the cover treatment at the back, which is nice.
Well, I personally like, and we're going to talk about some other books, too, today, and you're welcome to stick around. I want to pick your brain just on, because no one really knew who Trish Forstner. Say your last name for me.
Forstner.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who you were, and then issue 3, and everyone's like, "Who the hell is Trish Forstner?"
She's a monster.
and then you go and you look at your before, and you did some My Little Pony books. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else, or is it?
No, it was My Little Pony. I did My Little Pony covers for a while, for a couple years, and then I did some. And while I was doing Stray Dogs, I was doing starting interiors for them. I never really did interior work ahead of Stray Dogs, other than my first published interiors, which was a free comic book day issue of My Little Pony that never happened. I still see it though. And then like people still give it to me to sign, and I'm like, oh, it's so amazing. That was like my first interior work that I did on my own.
So how did you get into IDW, into My Little Pony, and then to Stray Dogs? Like, that's such a leap. But
well, I actually always drew in like a Disney style or like a cartoony style. So I always was I would always draw for fun or charity. I would run charity drives every year for Special Olympics and stuff. And so I would do it for fun. And then there was also My Little Pony came out, the new generation came out in 2012. So I started drawing that stuff way back then, or I guess it came out before that. When did it come out? I don't know.
So
it's so long.
I own a Brony t-shirt, but I'm not a Brony, so I can't answer that question.
Right. So I joined up with the BronyCon staff, and I was on their design team for 7 years. We were a very professional group. We're all graphic designers. We're all illustrators. We're all into creating a fun environment visually and just being able to, put on a good show. So
Yeah.
we made that convention look really good for 7 years, and I learned a lot. And while that was going on, I met Sarah Richard at BronyCon. I don't remember, 2013 maybe. She put my art in front of Bobby at IDW, who let me do a couple, or who asked me to do a couple retailer incentive covers. That's how I got in with them, because I sent the same piece into IDW, into the void, and never got anything back.
So it really is, and that's like Joe here's played with that, like trying to get covers and it's so much a game of who do you know, how do you know, and like it's weird for me because I knew a guy who wrote for CBSI, and then I entered the contest, and I wasn't even selected, but my buddy pitched me a few times to the guy who runs the site, and then he's like, okay, here, we'll give you a shot, and I started writing, and then pandemic happened, and I started, hey, I just want to talk comics, and I can't leave the house. We're not selling books right now, so we're not. Well, actually, we're selling books, but we're not actually going to shop. So it was great to get online. And then I was like, I want to reach out to artists. I want to reach out to these people and start asking you guys questions because you're not going to cons anymore.
Right.
And so it's blown my mind getting to know how the system works. But to talk to someone like you who was a graphic
virtual
designer,
nobody. Yeah.
But to have your first work, did you know Tony beforehand, or
Tony and I met through My Little Pony. We were at a con together. We were at BronyCon. I believe it was 2018. The two of us talked about. He picked up my art book. I have a little art book with some drawings, and there's a big section for pony stuff, and then there's like original stuff, and then there's other stuff, fan art and whatever. In the back, there was one drawing I made in memoriam of a dog I had that had died. And it was the end scene from All Dogs Go to Heaven, where Charlie pokes his head up out of the clouds and he's got that little halo. So I drew my dog instead. Yeah. And so he was like, I want this in this whole book. Like, can you do it? I'd never done interiors before. I was very intimidated at the idea, but also very intrigued. Once he pitched me the first issue, I was just like, all right, I'm in. I'll do it. So for 3 years after that, it took us about a year to get the first issue together. Started pitching it around, started taking it places.
So it wasn't a Image just jumped on it and said yes.
Yeah, I think Tony had a friend. It might have been Kyle, who floated it to Image, and they met at San Diego Comic-Con or something, and talked about it, and then boom, we were at Image. And
so you guys didn't consider kickstarting or anything?
Not with this. This idea was like nothing I had ever seen in a book before, like anything. So, it would have been, I think we would have been happy with it however it did, because it was kind of like the most original thing out there. And it was the most visually, like, I guess you could say, like, commercially ready thing. So it's not like, like some of the stuff I see on Kickstarter, I guess. But also Image lets you keep your rights as a creator. Yeah. So that also plays a lot into where you land. If you go with like an Image or not Image, if you go with like a Marvel or DC, or if for some miracle that ever happened, they'd probably want a piece of it.
Yeah. Oh no. And I've talked to a lot of different companies, and even like Booms and your AWAs and different everyone at different percentages and different things. Sometimes there's the pluses and minuses of it all because of how it works. But that's just fascinating to me. And you're right. Like Stray Dogs was such a unique, because your style of art and what the story is at the same time was just, because you can find scary, dark books. A lot of them have come out in the past 2 or 3 years. But to have a happy looking book and a really dark premise is not quite as often, though. And actually I love it. And we're going to show a couple of books here, because we're going to look at New Comic Book Day and show off your 3 covers that are coming out, that are not the exclusives, but the ones that actually any store could have gotten. That we're going to look at those. Let me see if I can get Joe click and make sure. So I do the New Comic Book Day pull list every week. So I go through every book that comes out every week, and I look at them, and I mention all the incentives, and I talk about the ones I like. Your book was actually just not because I'm talking to you. I was going to talk about the book just strictly because of how hot the book was before and all the different incentives and everything. But first, before we talk about that one, talk about another dark book. Do you read comics? Do you keep up with any of them?
I have you should see my read box. It's nuts. Like, because for the last 2 months I have been just flat out on dog days because we had to finish it. We had to finish it by Sunday.
Oh wow!
Like, because second book FOC's in 2 weeks. So, I'm like, well, nuts. So I didn't have a life for like 6 months. So I'm just.
So do you hand draw or do you digital?
It's a combination of the two. So, I draw with a tablet. I actually got this computer because of its ability to be a tablet.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is it an iPad or Surface?
Surface Studio. I love it. It's awesome.
So you got the pen and everything?
Yeah, I got the pen and everything. Although it's in the other room. I do my interviews in my office, but it's more like a storage room.
This is a closet that I'm in right now.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's the best position I can put there. It doesn't look like one, but it's all shelves on this side of me here. So.
Oh my gosh, you should see. Hang on. Look at
There's
this.
comics up there.
Look at all these boxes. Look at all those stray dogs back there. Yeah.
Everyone's sitting there going, wait, that me? Oh wow, that's a.
Yeah, they're like, what covers that? What covers that? Where can I get them? There's actually a Stray Dogs Facebook group, and on that Facebook group, they posted a link or a thread of all the shops that have number ones, and where you can get them and how much, and all that business. So like all the good stuff.
And that always amazes me too. Is you get your guys and they'll go buy 5 copies and they try to resell them, but I can usually find them at the shop still. And but someone online is trying to sell it for $40 and it was a $20 book. And it amazes me people who don't know how to look for certain books and how to find them and put forth the effort. But let's look at a couple of more books that are coming out and your book as well. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Let me hit the right button. This is here. So this is Ice Cream Man. Have you read any of the Ice Cream Man stories?
No, but I do have them because, this book is every cover I see looks insane. So I'm like, just let me pick up some of them because I need to. It looks like, is it anthology style? It's kind of like anthology style. So it's all like
the original House of Mysteries. You have your narrator, and then it's a different story. So like the Ice Cream Man appears in the book at some point.
Oh, I could see that being like a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
it definitely is. But I love this. This is the Kafka Metamorphosis cover. And then you have the A and the B cover, and it's funny. Some of these, for a collector standpoint, they start to climb. I love this Kafka cover. Just for the literary person in me, it's just a really awesome looking cover. And then we have. I gotta come back over here and click again. Here's your books. So A, B, and a C cover. Talk to me about them.
Okay, so our A and B, obviously, the character that's on them is Other Henry. He is based on the type of dog that Tony owns, which is a bull terrier. And I just love him because he's just a big doof. But Dog Days is anthology style as well. It's made up of little short stories. It's based on the characters that we meet in the main run. And what my hope is that folks would read this and then go back and read the trade with new knowledge.
So you're going to tell one of the characters from the main run's story now.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like you have a story about each dog. The stories are they're little. Some of them are 3 pages. Some of them are happy. Some of them are creepy. Some of them are sad. We've got a little bit of everything, and we've got some new characters too. A couple of new characters. In the first book, there's a new character, and then the second book, there's a first appearance and a new character. And I just love creating characters in this universe because it's just like kind of fun to see how their little puzzle piece fits in. But if there's in the first book, there's a stick, right? There's a stick that they're playing with in the first in the first 2-page spread in the main book. Yeah. So there's a story about that stick. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a story about that stick and how they either come up with it or whatever. and it's just dogs being dogs.
Yeah.
But it's got a creepy twist to it, which is funny. So yeah, and of course we always do a horror homage.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, so we did this one's Creep Show, right? Yes.
Yeah.
This one's Creep Show. And I just love how our characters can kind of fill that position. We always do good homages. I love them. The trade dresses always look so good.
Are you worried though, because the store exclusives, there's like 30 of them this time? Did they steal every horror movie that you had planned? I mean,
let me tell you, we ran out of ideas, and I love that you said there's only 30 of them.
how many? Oh wow,
it's higher.
50?
Much.
60 for this one book?
80.
80? Oh dear Lord.
Good goo.
So you're talking minimum 500 print run for most of them. Wow.
Well, some of them say they did 200. I don't know how again, this is another part of the business I don't know. It's like,
I know,
the wholesalers and all that good stuff. I don't know all that stuff. But
most publishers require a certain number no matter what.
Yeah.
So the store might only release 200 because they got a lot for damages, because Diamond damages over half the books and everything.
Can
like
Diamond just stop drop kicking all the books? That would be great. But we did something really good with this book. Where is it? We upgraded the paper stock.
Okay.
On the covers, because the previous run we learned the previous run,
especially original. I remember this one. You had a one cover you had a special cover. But
yeah, it was the Crow incentive, and it got print lines and wavy, and I was so mad. I
love that. That was like my favorite one. It was issue 5. I was like, I want that Crow cover so badly. And then
that one was the first incentive too. We didn't do incentives before, and then we did that one as an incentive, and then we have our incentive here, which is a Bill Morrison piece. It's kind of an Oliver and Company, like kids movie homage.
I was struggling. I was like, I recognize it, but how do I recognize Oliver? Wow.
Yeah. So instead of a piano, it's a dog crate, and instead of a city, it's hell. I have no idea what's happening here.
That's great.
But Bill Morrison used to paint Disney movie posters back in the day.
Okay.
And horror movie posters too. So we commissioned him to paint this beautiful thing for us. And
I'm just picturing a guy his resume says Disney movie poster and horror movie. So it's like Fright Night right next to Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's kind of like me. It's My Little Pony next to Stray Dogs, like how do we do this? But yeah, I think that a lot of what we've seen from retailers, and we've seen a lot of creative covers from retailers. I've got a bunch of favorites, and I want to talk about that more in depth some other time.
Yeah.
But the creativity from the retailers and the support from them is nothing short of unfathomable for me.
Yeah.
It's on another level. I've never seen anything like this. And so I can only appreciate them for being the saints that they are and, believing in us.
Well, to take this, let's look at another book that's coming out, because I think you contributed to this one as an exclusive cover.
Oh, good boy. Yeah, I love this book.
So this is Garrett Gunn. I'm a big Garrett I interviewed last year. I loved his Franklin Ghost and then Warcorns, and then I did the Kickstarter for Good Boy, which is unbelievable. Have you read all 3 of them yet?
Yeah, and I also did me and Tony did a story in the Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, I have it. I was like, I thought that. I was like, I forgot. I was like, I know your dad match of that little story you did in the back was awesome as well.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I was just like, let me write this real quick, and I was like, what are they fighting over? What goes with peanut butter? That's right. But yeah, so that one was super fun to do, and Good Boy is such a cool story. I mean, who would have thought to twist John Wick on its ear and just say, what if the man died? Would the dog freak out and go on a rampage?
I've been telling Joe he needs to check this book out. It's just so much fun, and
it's like silly, hyper violent, but not like you see a guy get his head blown off, but it doesn't look graphically horrifying. It's just like splatter. That's it.
Well, that's the I don't know if you read his Franklin and Ghost or Warcorns. Same
Oh
deal.
yeah,
Like
I did a Warcorns
hyper-violent-
cover too.
Hmm?
I did a
You did a-
Warcorns cover for Birthday Bash.
Oh,
It was a Bird City exclusive. They still have
Okay.
it. But
shh, don't tell people that. No.
Yeah.
But yes, so guys, and this comes. I love the fact. Well, and Source Point's always tricky because they sometimes come out on the day they say there, and sometimes they give all the books on a Monday or like one at the beginning of a month. It's just the way it gets released. But yeah, this is supposed to come out the same day yours does, so it's sort of like cool. I can go get.
oh, that's cool. It's gonna be like Dog Day. Like go to the comic book shop and adopt some dogs.
If only you had what is that Pacino movie, Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh yeah.
If you had an homage cover for that to go
We
along with
got a Reservoir Dogs homage
Oh,
through Good Boy. I thought that they were doing one. I don't know. I did a speed homage for number 3 for somebody. Because Keanu Reeves, Speed is my favorite movie. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
No, don't be. Long as it's not Speed 2, you're okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah, no. What's that? Speed 2 was Cruise Control. Weren't they
Cruise
on like
Control
a
of
ship?
Jason Patrick.
Yeah. Weren't they on like a cruise ship? No, thanks. No. But yeah, the Good Boy, and I did a charity cover too through Izzy's Comics. Where they were.
That's the one I was thinking of because I do a lot of purchasing from Izzy.
Yeah, they did donated some money to a canine charity to get dogs to vets.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really cool to participate in. In fact, I'm waiting for boxes of remarks to show up at my house. I got work to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the fact like Ice Cream Man comes out this week. Your book comes out this week. Good Boy comes out this week.
Got a lot of good books coming out this week.
And I don't know if you've read this. Have you checked this out?
I have some Once in Future here to check out because
they're good.
But look at these covers. I mean, like that's fire. I like the one with the trade dress.
Yeah.
I like the one without. I mean, I'm a fan of anything that looks like it's just 100% ink.
Mm-hmm.
Just like nothing, no color. Just show me like what looks like traditional inks to me, and I'm just like I'm here for it.
Because you don't have your style that at least that I see is very much black and white, or it's not, or color. You don't have a lot of sketch to it.
Yeah, I mean, what I do for myself, my own personal stuff, I will leave the base sketch under it, and then ink over it.
Okay.
Because I like that feel. I like that aesthetic from like the old animation style where it was kind of sketchy looking, where the inks were even sketchy looking. That is my aesthetic. But even Stray Dogs from the very, very beginning, they looked like that. But then we went cleaner because the colorist was having trouble with my sketchy lines. And I was like, damn.
That's one of those you have to start weighing. You're like, crap, when I'm working with more people, I have to be considerate of everyone, not just me anymore.
Yeah, not just me anymore. I wasn't the one coloring these. And I did kind of feel bad because when they were trying to color them, they were having some trouble with the layering. Because we had to do Stray Dogs digitally. Because everybody was everywhere. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. Tony's in California. Colorist is in Oregon, I think. Then we had, we have a flatter who's in like the center of the country. We have people everywhere.
Oops, my bad.
But yes, this is a good looking book. And, every time I see a new book, like, I stopped hearing about Berserker for a while, but I liked the way it looked.
Yeah.
Visually, I didn't.
Well, Berserker was a book, and then your book is Stray Dogs is so completely different because yours built the buzz built organically, and then issue 3, issue 4, when issue 1 started going to a second, third print, issue 3 and 4 I started, and then also I think it made it to a 5th print is what issue 1 went to, and like I love that. Like Berserker, I don't like books that it had a 600,000 print run or more. So
that was
just
a lot.
ginormous, tons of store exclusives. But it's Keanu. Everyone's a Keanu fan. It brought people into the stores who had never read before. But I think your book's doing the opposite. People are slowly, because if I'm a store owner, I can hand this trade off and say, "Hey, go read this and go read a story." And we're actually gonna, once again, welcome to stick around. We're gonna talk about Saga, which is another book that did more for comics in the past 10 years than a lot of books have. And we're gonna talk. It just amazing.
Yeah, I think Saga 55 comes out in January.
Yes, the FOC was Monday or Sunday, so or just past Sunday. So
Because
it was one of
another
those, like, I
shop
was trying
wanted
to.
us to do an homage to that, and I was like, I don't think we can do that.
Well, and that's when one last book. I don't know if you watched Loki, the TV show.
Yeah, I could do that at least.
But this cover came out. It's Timeless is coming out, guys. If you haven't seen it, it's gonna be a one shot. It's this is the cover that everyone's gonna want. It's just it's not a incentive. It just has the character on it, so everyone's going crazy for it. So those are some of the new books. There's lots of great new books coming out. Check out Dog Days. Check out Good Boy, because we have personal investments in them. But also check out some of the other ones. I'm a big Once and Future fan. I love the Knights of King Arthur. So switch back here for a second. So Trish, one of the things we do on our show is Joe's been sitting here drawing. So sometimes he'll show off just because I was like, I just like showing people draw. I have people that like watching people draw, because you don't get to. You
don't get to see people draw a lot.
Yeah. So he's been sitting here drawing. People can like it. People don't have to like it. And he basically agrees to read my article on a Sunday, and then by Thursday, figure out how to draw some of the characters. So he's been working on Saga. He might have been drawing some dogs here too, strictly because you're on the show. But I asked him to do it because he hooked me into Saga. So he's been playing around. He might even switch his camera around and just show himself drawing. But what do you have here, Joe, to show off before we jump into talking about some Saga characters?
Well, I've been sketching Saga stuff all day, kind of off and on. So here's a bunch of loose, weird little loose. This is our Prince Robot, Lion Cat. There's a goose.
Oh, goose.
Let's see what else. A couple more Lion Cats. There's Isabel somewhere. There she is. Okay. Lion Cat. But then while we were talking, I did this guy. Prince Robot.
Nice.
So that's pencil and a Sharpie. Hardcore action here.
Listen, I learned how to do remarks super quick at conventions because, I didn't do that before. I would my remarks look like an actual illustration.
Yeah.
And so people are like, "No, you got to go faster than this." And I'm like, "What? Yeah. Why?"
Both Chris and I were art teachers at one time, so we got used to the quick, here's Heist. He's maybe one
gesture drawing I can do.
Yeah.
I mean,
But that's so different to get the character, and then you're like, oh, but to hand it away after you're done, you're like, I'm not done. There's more. But that's also
I'm
where
gonna
you
draw.
go, how much is my time worth? Okay, you paid me an extra $20, so this is the size of the thing. Or you paid me an extra $30, it gets a little bit bigger.
I literally just drew Bry's comics, who I admit I sat on these remarks for a while because I was hustling for Dog Days, and I just finished them. I pray for those patient souls. But we were doing remark combos, Tony and I, for their trade that came out in September. So between Tony and I, it took us that much time to do these remarks. And my remark takes up half the damn book. I was just like,
nice.
It's fine. It's a cool profile. It's all right. I got them down to 3 minutes a piece. So I was pretty impressed by myself.
Yeah. Did you find a shorthand that you could do the same
character
the same way? Yeah, that's.
I did actually. I think I took a picture of one. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, it was a really cool remark. It would be really a shame if I didn't take a picture of it.
Well, some artists have gotten it down to where they actually go, you can choose between 3 remarks. You can either have a Venom head or a Spider-Man head or a Spider-Gwen, and they're all the same, just a different colored pen is used to draw it.
Let's see. Can you see this?
Yeah, hold on. Let me throw. I gotta get my thing over here, and then. Yeah. Okay. So
nice.
The white or the.
I'm the white. I'm the white, and Tony's the black.
Okay.
Cool.
That does look good.
Yeah, he did all Sophie's. I did all Rusty's.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I just think that
clean, nice.
Yeah, I used white pencil. He used graphite for his. But I had to use a paint pen.
That's what I was about to ask. Was how do you get it to not smudge or whatever?
Well, I had to use a paint pen because if I didn't, it
Yeah.
wasn't going to stand out. And I did a full one. This was the first one. Like I did the first one, that base sketch underneath is actually kind of a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than I did on the ones that went after it.
Right.
Because, you get a shorthand with them after a while. It's just like, oh, I know about how big his head is. I know where his neck goes. That's fine. That's all I needed. Just enough to make it not look lopsided. But see, when I draw, especially for like streaming, I'll do it digitally and just stream my desktop. And folks usually will watch.
Yeah.
I don't have a big following on there anymore. I used to do it every day. Before this book, I used to do it every day.
Yeah.
And now I'm lucky if I can do it once a year.
Right.
Poor people. I miss doing it though. I had a good following there.
Well,
it was
that's
always fun stuff.
And I know, like, I get like the Instagram is the where it takes over now. Just quick little videos and watching some artists do the whatever sketch or something, or especially if I get to see a little inkling of what might be coming down the road. Like, okay,
Ooh, let me show you something. I'm going to show you the incentive for Dog Days number 2.
okay.
And then you guess the homage.
Ooh, I'm terrible at homages.
But it's red instead of blue.
Wait, okay, so it's this ridge. Wait, is that Balto? No.
Yes, it's Balto. You got it.
Nice, Mish. Nice.
I know we just talked about it. So you're no longer tied to doing horror.
Well, with our amazing retailers having taken literally every horror homage that I wanted to do, but what I was also thinking was, hey, I like Balto. Balto's kind of in the vein of where we are. It's kind of ripped, torn from the headlines kind of thing. So, why not do a really bloody version? Turn it red. Turn it red, turn the icicles to blood. That's it. We're good. But anyway, that's our incentive for that. For issue number 2. And the FOC's on Monday, the January 3rd, which is my birthday.
Oh, nice. So hopefully enough people. So okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, that one's
excited.
actually, and I did that one all the way. Like Tony did the trade dress part. I did all the painting on it. It took 10 hours.
Wow.
To paint it. But at least I knew it was done to my level there.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to look almost like it came out of, like, you could see this in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
I love the red covers. That was my thing. I always did these red covers for, like, whenever I did a cover, I did one for every issue, a red cover, and the red covers were mine. The red covers were all
okay. So I gotta go through.
Like,
so all the printing, the second, third prints were yours. Then
the second prints were all red, and then like the number 1 and the number 5 were all me.
Yeah.
And then the 2, 3, and 4 on the first run were combo between me and Tony.
I love looking at all the different, trying to guess the movie homage that you did, and looking at all that.
I love these. I love them, and I like that other properties do them too. Department of Truth did Evil Dead, and we did Evil Dead at the same time, not planned at all. So somebody put a poll on Twitter and was like, which one's better?
Yeah.
Who wore it best or whatever? I forget. And ours won. And I said, here's the reason why ours won. If you look at the warning at the bottom of it, it says on Dog Day, or it says on Stray Dogs, no one should read this book, or no child, or no one under 18, or whatever. We had like a stronger advisory on ours. The Department of Truth one says everybody should read it. And ours was like, no one under 18 should read it, or no children should read this. And I just laughed. I was like, ours is a stronger, like, warning. It's hysterical.
I remember in college trying to convince a bunch of people. Well, Joe and I went, they used to have, how movie theaters did, like Rocky Horror Picture Store, and you could go. They did it for Evil Dead. So the art school, local art school, took over a theater and showed Evil Dead. So Joe and I went to it, and like they came out and threw body parts in the middle of the thing. And they gave you a little Bruce Campbell carrying that Army of Darkness one where he has his chainsaw hand and you got little puppets, so you could like make the sounds and different things. We had like they threw out little plastic witches' fingers and what it was all just some of it made no sense, but it was our first experience at a weird like that movie theater where it's interactive and everyone's seen the movie 100 times.
Yeah, so it's not like you mind it when somebody's throwing stuff at you while you're watching the film, like Rocky Horror. Like they have sing-alongs during that, which is really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. We tried to convince friends who were no interest in it, and we were like, "Come over to our house. We're gonna watch it." And the shock and horror on these like little girls' faces
terrified all our
they
friends.
were like,
It was great.
"Oh wait, we didn't realize the tree tries to tackle the girl and the cream corn brain explodes everywhere." It was like it was tame and fun for us, but for these people who never it's
never seen it before, it's so crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's to me it's what some of your book is going to be like, is you can hand this off to people and they're going to love it because of the novelty of it and the craziness of it. But there's also going to be a group of people that go, "Wait a minute," just like we talked about in the chat, like, "Oh wait, you killing dogs?" No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like there was one podcaster who I was really worried about because she was on board. She was cautiously on board. And so like by the time issue 3 came around, I was legit looking for her review. I'm like, where are you on YouTube? Like surfing. She's nice. Like I talked to her now. She's very nice. I think she's changed the name of her podcast now, but it was still a really good in-depth review. She was very cautious and she understood what happened and why it had to happen. And so she accepted us. And I was like, yes, that's all I wanted. Like, I'm after this one poor person. I'm like, please don't hate us. And then that was another thing that was really cool, was seeing people read and react to the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen that before. No one has ever reacted to anything I did with any sort of like emotion. Yeah. And there was such emotion behind this book because, you got these dogs and you're invested. If this was like a house full of people, no one would give a damn. No one would care.
Yeah.
Right.
They would be like, oh no, do these people not remember? What's wrong with the people? Why don't they remember how they got there? That was a plot of a TV show, though, I think.
Yeah. Is that Lost?
Well,
that's
I think it
Island.
Was, no, this one was like, damn, why am I blanking on it?
Well, it sounds like the theme of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm blanking on this, but it was a Fox show, and all these people ended up in a place, and they couldn't remember how they got there. And, then they sorted out and tried to figure out how to leave. It was some post-apocalyptic thing. It was a horror thing, too. Monsters were out there in the woods, and I forget the name of it.
Now you're going to have my entire train of thought is gone towards what Fox show happened 10 years ago.
What is this thing? It was something Pines. Wayward Pines.
Oh, yes.
Wayward Pines. That movie or that TV show was crazy. I enjoyed watching that one, though. I'm not a big horror nut, but when I find stuff that's kind of intriguing, I'll watch it.
So have you read Saga?
Some.
So I want to jump into look at it because we're going to talk about some of the characters. But if you're talking about a book to hand off to someone, this is one of those books. It's one of those. I love every character that they created. Like you created characters that people are sort of love. Fiona Staples, her style, like it's so amazing in this book. And
well,
Brian
I
K.
like
Vaughan.
how it looks beautiful. It looks painted, beautiful.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But you open up the first page of this book, and I'm going, "Oh shoot, I shouldn't have handed this off to you." Like you have to know the person you hand it off to. Just like Stray Dogs, you're a dog lover. Oh wait, you might not want to read Stray Dogs, or maybe you do. But let me preface it. There's going to be a, but actually, I mean, it's not. It is interesting when you think through, especially good indie books. They do shock and awe you at certain spots. Saga does. They're
supposed to, I feel like it's supposed to, shock you and make you think about it differently. So I'm always into stories that do that along the way, and the indie stories have it better than anybody else these days.
Yeah, well, they don't have to bring a character back if they're a fan favorite character. Tough. We're going to end the character. Like when I went through and started looking at some of these characters, and like here are the two main, sort of the main characters, Alana and Marco, and then their daughter are the three main characters throughout the story. But their life sucks. There's like
yeah,
the misery of it all, the things they go through, and the different things, and then but you get introduced to them when they're having sex in the back room. You're just like, all right, this is the way I get introduced to you. Oh wait, this is the comic book that Roz tells someone in Big Bang Theory to read. Like it's like this made mainstream. It wasn't DC or Superman or anything. No, Saga. That's the one you need to go read. And then you get Prince Robot, and like the first time you meet him, like almost 75% of the characters you meet, they're all ambiguously having sex at some point during the series.
Nice.
But then they're ultra violent at the same time. But you end up caring about them all. Like Joe, you've been sitting there drawing some of the different ones. You showed Prince Robot. He's a character throughout the entire series. It's 54 issues so far. 55 comes out next. I think next 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. And you hate him, you like him, you're not sure about him, you hate him again, you end up liking him, and then you're sad by the end of 53, 54. And then you have this like special agent Gale, who's what the world feels like it is right now, where you have someone behind the scenes manipulating everything, keeping us at war, keeping us hating vaccinations versus not vaccinating, or someone's back there just spitting this in. That's Agent Gale throughout the entire series. Then my two favorite characters, or initially were my two favorite characters. Lion Cat is definitely my favorite character.
Yeah.
How awesome it would be to have someone that calls you out every time you try to BS someone.
God.
Like, that'd
be a job.
And Joe, you're actually working on, so I'm going to throw up your sketch as you're working here. Talk to me about this guy. Who is the guy you're working on right now?
This is Oswald Heist, maybe? Is that his first name? He's the guy who writes the romance novel that Alana is like obsessed with. And they see it as like this manifesto for like what the world could be. And they go to him as if he's the guru on the mountain to go talk to him about like what the world needs to be and like what needs to happen. Of course, he dies like 2 issues later because it's Saga.
Like don't get attached.
No,
it's very Game of Thrones like, and I listened to a couple interviews with Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This
criminal. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, today, and he talks about how if somebody dies, they die. This isn't Superman. Like he's not coming back, and like that's awful as you start to think about all of the like wonderful characters that they kill, and every one of her character designs are just the perfect amount of silly and like grounded. So just reading through that book and just reading it is wonderful. He's a spectacular writer. His dialogue is wonderful. But I feel like just flipping through that book and seeing all the weird stuff that she has designed. And in one of the interviews that I listened to today, she was talking about how she doesn't really have time to like clear those designs with anyone, so she just does it. And sometimes she just does it on the page, so she'll just design a ship as she's doing the page. Like there is no prelim, and that just blows my mind because like Frank Miller says, everything's architecture, and like I can't imagine just okay, here it is, I'm done now. Like that's nuts. She's amazing. Another thing she said, Chris, that I thought was really great is somebody was asking her how she and Brian K. Vaughan got hooked together, and it was through a mutual friend. Actually, it was Steve Niles. He wrote that North 40 that she did. Do you remember that, Chris? Anyway, and she's like, he said, well, I just saw her stuff, and it was just this like completely different style. I'd never seen anybody do anything like it, and so I put her books in a drawer that I have just of people I'd maybe like to work with. And she said, oh, I'm so glad that you saw that and you didn't see my work before that. And he said, why? And she said, because I was an Ashley Wood clone. And I thought that made a lot of sense to me.
And not that's bad, but
no,
Ashley Wood
I
style.
love Ashley Wood is amazing. But also this was like probably early 2000s Ashley Wood, which is, not the mature inky Ashley wood that I actually really love now. So it's just really interesting book. There, you know, he said he wanted it to go until he's too old to write comics or dead. And I was like, oh, cool. This is going to last forever. That's awesome.
So, but yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people wanted Stray Dogs to last forever. I'm like, you want me to torture these poor dogs for how long? What?
Right.
So cold. So cold.
I mean,
I'm since your show is called Sketches,
oh,
there I
nice.
sketched some dogs.
Awesome.
I love the fact I like watching both of you guys draw. Like I like. Well, I didn't actually. I could tell you were drawing, but I was like, I hope she's drawing and going to show it, and she's not going. These guys are idiots on this. But
It's okay. You can do that.
you can do that too. I mean,
we taught kids
What
for a
is
long
happening
time.
here? I have no idea what I'm doing.
why did I agree to be on the show?
Oh no, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, at least not on camera.
Oh no.
But
No.
no,
I'm happy to engage. You know that.
Yes, I do appreciate that. Yeah, no, Saga. When I think of Saga, kept Image relevant for its time period, and then here recently, Ice Cream Man, your book, Department of Truth, brought Image back. Now, like, Spawn's always been there. Spawn. But Spawn has its own world and personality, and now McFarlane's blowing it up and everything. But I love the fact that, like with your book, it just blows my mind, the sheer number of how it became what it is now, with the number of exclusives and the number of different, how excited people are. And I know you actually have a writer and it's optioned. It happened in September or whatever.
It happened before the book even came out.
So it was optioned before.
Yeah, but it happened before the book was even a thing. Like we had the pitch pages put together, and that was happening. That was already in works before it was a book, before it was even finished.
That makes a lot more sense, because every comic book guy that I've talked to that has said their book is optioned or whatever, or it gets announced, they only optioned is the only thing. Like when the news came out for Stray Dogs that it was optioned, it came with a writer, or it came with, I was like, oh, so it's already been in the works. They just wanted to make sure it was successful.
Yeah. I mean, if it was me, I didn't know any of this part. Like all of that part was happening behind the scenes. I was just creating and doing my thing, kind of on the side. But if it were me, it'd be like a no-brainer. It's just like, it's a what? And you want me to do it how? Okie dokie. Sign me up.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm still going, is it anime? Hopefully it's I can't imagine the CG created dog.
I do not want it to be like that hybrid CG nonsense that's kind of like a real dog, but it moves its mouth.
Yeah, gross.
Those freaking Disney remakes, man, they made me so angry. Like, I legit went on strike. I did not see a single one. I didn't give them money for them. I was like, no, you have to learn a lesson. This is my one Karen moment. I will not buy this. So, like, I didn't buy a single one of those. But I support fully them bringing back anything that looks like it was drawn by hand. So, like, flat 2D animation is beautiful. And I hope they continue to do it forever. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to, or anything is in the works for that. But
I think it's just so much cheaper to do the 3D thing.
Yeah, it is.
We're probably stuck with it.
Brown. One more dog.
Yes, that's awesome.
I always draw his ears huge. Then I fix it later. Because his ears aren't really that big. Like a rabbit.
So, thank you so much, guys. We like to run this for about an hour exactly. So, this is sort of the show. Trish, thank you so much for joining us.
Sorry, I hijacked it.
Oh no, it's great.
No, I love whenever I get an opportunity to talk to someone in the game, trying to figure it out. I love the fact that you're flat out, you're honest, and you said, "Hey, I was My Little Pony, and then this book was in the works, and then you're learning about the other side of it that you didn't even know existed, because why would you? I mean,
it came at me fast. It came at me so fast. CBSI has been good to us, though. I mean, like, I think overall, this speculator market and this other market, everything that investing market and all of that, I think that, you know, I'm still learning, but I have friends who know more too. I you know, they also will tell me like, hey, do you have this book? Because I have some stuff upstairs that's like the matte fraction run of Hawkeye. Like, I was getting Hawkeye because I liked purple at the time. I'm like, here, give me these. You know, I'll take them.
Yeah,
I like
but
it.
now,
Not even because you liked Aha's work. I like the color
Right.
purple.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this. I love this cover. It was minimal,
Yeah.
beautiful.
She's
the
amazing.
Kate Bishop. Oh, that's another thing. Me and Tony, we did a Kate Bishop cover.
Yes.
And for
that was a store exclusive, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Arsenal Comics.
Mm.
And it's beautiful. I love drawing Lucky. He's cute.
Yeah.
I mean, who didn't like Pizza Dog?
Pizza Dog is the best.
Oh. So that was
He's the goodest boy.
Yeah.
That's one of the best issues in the entire run, where it's all from his perspective.
Mhm.
Like, I love that.
And they're doing a lot of that now. I'm seeing a lot of dogs in comics now.
Well, Nightwing's psychic with Bitewing. Oh, I was gonna say you need to somehow get yourself into drawing an issue of that just to do.
I would die. I would just ascend to another level. Like, it would just be like, people think that I'm insane because like Tone Rodriguez tells me like, this is not how this goes. You're not supposed to come and hit a grand slam on your first book.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know how this happened to me.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful thing. And I know I'm going over your time here, but
you're fine.
He tells me like, this isn't what you're supposed to do. Like, you're not supposed to come on here and like come hit a grand slam. We've been in the industry for like 10,000 years and we have, what's happening here? But I want to be able to draw like everything. I want to draw for everybody. I don't care. Licensed work, unlicensed work, creator owned stuff, whatever. You know, I just like to draw. And as long as I can keep doing that.
So I want to see the non-Disney or non-Don Bluth style Trish Forstner cover to come out and like, wait, she just went Jason Shaw Alexander. How the hell did she
just morph into something else, disappear, and then they'll be like, that's not her. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Actually, I think Stray Dogs is more an amalgamation of things, but it does end up being my style. It starts off like, you can see the evolution of the characters too throughout the book. I draw them differently now than I did at the beginning of Stray Dogs. So, you know, I think they became more me later.
One, I think knowing that I didn't realize that it was it took a while to build the book.
Oh, it was a slow grind. Because both of us, Tony and I had day jobs. Like, we had other things we were doing, and I still have a day job. Yeah. But you know.
Hey, I do too. Like, that's why I talk comics. I don't write or draw them.
We do these things. We do those things so that we can do these things.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. It's a useful, you know, thing. It enables me to do these things that I like. And so, you know, that's why it took so long, because we were both obligated to other things. And while I was doing my day job and working on Stray Dogs, which we had a table for, you know, timetable for, I was also drawing interiors for My Little Pony. I was learning how to do interiors, you know, throughout that whole process. Issue 5 of Stray Dogs, I had a serious operation, and half of that issue was me drawing flat on my back. Ooh. You know, because I'm okay now, but it was rough going there for a couple of months. Yeah. So, you know, but half of that issue was me laying flat on my back on my couch with my rig set up like this. It was pretty bananas. To picture,
but like, talking
like the Sistine Chapel. I'm like painting it. Like
your eyesight's going out and your candles and
you know, it was great. I wouldn't trade it though. I wouldn't trade the experiences that I've gotten through this for anything. It was such a good time. Stray Dogs is changed my life.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that's awesome.
Hopefully, if everybody, you know, like when that guy was posting about what he didn't like, I'm like, legit, this might be the first time I've ever heard anybody say they didn't like it. Like, just tell me why. art is subjective. I get that, but like if you read it, what part didn't you like?
Yeah, and
because Scott Snyder's giving like speeches about like using our book on as an example on how you write a good first issue. You know, like a call to action kind of book. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah, that's
oh
nuts.
My God.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because doesn't Snyder teach at Stanford or did it one time?
Yeah, I know he was doing like a little like thing from his shop. From whatever his shop is, and this was like a little like 20-minute podcast.
I just remember was it James Tinian that came out of his class? Like was in Snyder's class, and that's where he got his sort of start. He went to him, and so
it just blows my mind, like where people come from. You know, I try not to. I came from nowhere. Like I'm just like out of nowhere. Here I am.
Yeah.
You know,
well, that's the fascinating thing to all of you guys is hearing your stories. Like I've talked to John Boyd Myers, and he's like, no man, back in the day, like we drove to San Diego Con, and I went up, and there's like a table you could go to back, and you go and show your work, and you might get an option, and a bunch of guys like Kari Randolph, and those guys, that's how they got. And then I talked to Carla
Cohen,
Corey Andrews, who he's like, yeah, when I first got started, digital wasn't a thing, so I had to convince Marvel that it was the thing. And
that is another thing that I've noticed too through this is that some people are really good digitally, but if you try and put them on paper, they are not good.
Yeah. Well, that's when you find the artists that can switch back and forth. It's like, whoa, wait, and you can color, but you choose not to, or wait, you can also write and draw, like.
Oh, I did write one of the stories in Stray Dogs Dog Days too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote one of the stories in there. I can write, I can draw, I can color. I can kind of do a little bit of everything. Not a master by any stretch, but I can do a little bit of everything. I tried really hard. You know, but anyway, yes, Saga is great. Read Saga when it comes back, and everybody just, you know, love it, appreciate it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
So, thank you so much. Once again, guys, check us, like us on CBSI. Trish, thank you so much for joining us. Check it out. Pick up her book when it comes out next week. Pick up Good Boys when it comes out next week. Pick up all the books I talked about. But yes, thank you so much.
Go get Good Boy. Go get Saga. Go get Stray Dogs. Go get everything. Go get what was that? Once in Future. Go get Once in Future. Those covers look hot. Yeah, so not gonna lie.
I'm a big fan of Once in Future. All right, so thank you guys. I'm gonna hit the video and we're gonna be head out.